Atheists confuse the essential message of Christianity by the horrific abuses of Christendom.
I have to decide that, like I decide everything else, on the basis of the evidence.
Is that very individual idea that you are responsible? I can't take your responsibility.
About the way that religion makes people first be terribly abject and then terribly solipsistic and arrogant.
Theological debate highlights. Christopher Hitchens and John Lennox engage in a compelling debate about God, with Hitchens presenting his arguments against divine design and Lennox responding with eloquence. Hitchens questions the concept of a divinely supervised and created world, highlighting the harsh realities of life on Earth throughout its history. He emphasizes the suffering, diseases, violence, and cruelty that have plagued humanity for thousands of years, questioning the effectiveness of divine intervention. He challenges the idea that an eternal father figure is a good design, pointing out the apparent lack of care and competence in the Creator's plan. Hitchens also questions the logic behind the redemptive offer, such as the crucifixion of Jesus, and suggests that the concept of an eternal father is flawed. However, Lennox counters Hitchens' arguments by drawing a distinction between the greatness of God and the misdeeds committed by individuals in the name of God. He argues that the evils perpetrated by religious individuals do not invalidate the greatness of God, just as the misuses of science do not diminish the greatness of scientific discoveries. Lennox uses the analogy of Einstein's genius and the misuse of science to create weapons of mass destruction, suggesting that blaming science for these misdeeds would be like saying science is not great.
Atheists confuse the essential message of Christianity by the horrific abuses of Christendom.
To be blind to the fact that they themselves are driven by faith.
With the right perspective reveals the greatness of God. Lennox also challenges Hitchens' assertion that science has made religion obsolete, stating that science and faith can coexist. He rejects the idea that scientific advancements disprove the existence of God and emphasizes the compatibility of science and a belief in a creator. In supposition, the debate captures the essence of the long-standing dialogue between atheism and theism. Hitchens' poignant critique of religious history and practices is met with Lennox's defense of the compatibility of faith and reason. The exchange serves as a thought-provoking exploration of fundamental questions about the existence and nature of God. Harmony of faith and science. The excerpt features a discussion between Christopher Hitchens and John Lennox on the relationship between science, faith, and the existence of God. Hitchens, a renowned atheist, asserts that advancements in scientific instruments, such as the telescope and microscope, have rendered religion's explanatory power obsolete. In contrast, Lennox counters this view, arguing that science and faith can coexist, offering complementary perspectives on the universe's working. Discoveries diminish the greatness of God. He contends that science describes the mechanisms governing the universe, whereas faith acknowledges the agency behind its existence. By using analogies such as the internal combustion engine and Henry Ford, Lennox illustrates that science explains the how, detailing the mechanics, while faith addresses the why, providing purpose and reason for existence. Moreover, Lennox challenges the notion that scientists reject faith. He points out that scientists, like anyone else, exercise faith in their convictions. Scientists have faith in the intelligibility of the universe, a foundational principle that motivates scientific inquiry. By arguing that even scientists rely on faith, Lennox questions the consistency of the new atheist's stance against faith. Lennox highlights the historical relationship between science and faith, invoking figures like Galileo, Copernicus, Kepler, and Newton. These pioneers of science saw the pursuit of scientific laws as an exploration of God's ordered creation. According to Lennox, their belief in the intelligibility of the universe stemmed from faith in a divine lawgiver. This historical perspective challenges the new atheist's narrative that faith and science are inherently incompatible. The discussion delves into the nature of faith itself. Lennox emphasizes that faith is not confined to religious beliefs, but extends to scientific endeavors. Scientists operate on the faith that the universe is intelligible and that human minds can comprehend its complexities. This perspective challenges the new atheist's rejection of faith, exposing its inherent role in various aspects of human understanding. Furthermore, Lennox addresses the claim that the new atheists reject faith and religion in favor of reason and science.
I do not deduce that God is not great and that religion poisons everything. I have to decide that, like I decide everything else, on the basis of the evidence.
Ironically, Christianity gave Europe its universities that educated the new atheists.
Death, resurrection of Jesus Christ has convinced me that he is God incarnate.
Lennox also addresses the broader implications of atheism and science. He argues that atheism and science provide no ground for trust in cognitive faculties if life originated from mindless, unguided processes. He references John Gray's perspective, suggesting that if Darwin's theory of natural selection is true, it raises questions about the reliability of human cognition. This line of argument challenges the new atheists to confront the potential but rather offer complementary insights into the universe. Lennox challenges the new atheist's rejection of faith, asserting that even scientists operate on faith in their pursuit of understanding. The historical context and broader implications of atheism and science add depth to the discussion, prompting a reconsideration of the perceived conflict between faith and reason. God's greatness explored. In Professor John Lennox's presentation, he explores the relationship between faith, science, and the greatness of God. Lennox begins by challenging the claim that atheism is a rational and coherent position, arguing that it is, in fact, anti-scientific and emotionally driven. He points out the irony that while atheists often champion reason and science, their worldview undermines the very rationality they claim to uphold. Lennox harks back to the early pioneers of science, who found rational justification in the existence of a creator. He echoes the biblical notion that in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, emphasizing the importance of recognizing a purpose beyond scientific understanding. Lennox, a mathematician, acknowledges the significance of science, but also highlights its limitations, particularly in addressing fundamental questions about life's meaning and the value of art and literature. Beyond being the creator and judge, Lennox emphasizes God's attributes of grace and love. He introduces the central claim of Christianity, that God, out of love, became human in Jesus Christ to address the moral separation between humans and God.
About the way that religion makes people first be terribly abject and then terribly solipsistic and arrogant.
Trying to insinuate itself as a creationist movement. Don't call it by the name they want you to call it. Don't call it intelligent design.
Religion is self-evidently absurd. They can't conceivably all be true. Indeed, there are mutually exclusive forms of Christianity.
Lennox acknowledges the mystery surrounding the death and resurrection of Jesus, but attests to the transformative effects observed in the lives of those who place their faith in Christ. Drawing an analogy with the scientific concept of energy, Lennox suggests that just as scientists use energy without fully understanding it, individuals can experience the transformative power of faith in Christ without comprehending every detail. He sees a transcendent sense of purpose and hope in those who embrace Christianity, elements he contends are absent in atheism. Indecision. Lennox asserts that the greatness of God becomes supremely manifest in the transformative impact of faith. He challenges the audience to consider not just the existence of God, but also the profound question of God's character and worthiness of worship. The underlying theme revolves around the inherent human desire for purpose, meaning, and hope, aspects Lennox argues are best fulfilled in a relationship with God. God's goodness amidst evil. The age-old question of reconciling the existence of a benevolent God with the evident presence of evil in the world has challenged theologians, philosophers, and believers for centuries. Theodicy, the attempt to justify God's goodness in the face of evil, is a complex and nuanced endeavor. While some may argue that evil disproves the existence of a good and all-powerful God, others find profound meaning in the struggle to understand and seek God's goodness amidst the chaos. The existence of evil is undeniable. Wars, natural disasters, suffering, and moral wrongdoing abound. The question then arises, how can a good God allow or coexist with such malevolence? One perspective is that God, being omnipotent and benevolent, could eliminate all evil instantly. However, the reality of a world grappling with pain and suffering suggests a different narrative. Moreover, the presence of evil serves as a catalyst for growth, compassion, and empathy.
Who created the Creator? It means also that you cannot conceive of anything that's eternal.
Is that very individual idea that you are responsible? I can't take your responsibility.
But the incapacity to believe in eternal is essentially the issue.
And over meat, over subsistence, the torture, the violence, the cruelty that goes on.
Additionally, many religious traditions emphasize the idea of divine redemption. The belief that God, in His goodness, provides a path to salvation or enlightenment offers solace amid life's trials. The redemptive narrative sees suffering not as a testament to God's indifference, but as an opportunity for individuals to draw closer to the divine and find ultimate fulfillment. The natural world, with its breathtaking beauty and intricate design, is often cited as evidence of God's goodness. The same world, however, also witnesses natural disasters and predatory behaviors. Some argue that these elements are part of a grand design that transcends human understanding, where God's goodness is embedded in the awe-inspiring complexity of creation. That's all for this video, folks. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.